There are 6 Colander benchmarks. The 6th addresses the percentage of work coming from any one client sector. And as in previous years, we've set this benchmark at 40%. Now, this benchmark is simply one of risk aversion. If the bottom falls out of, say, the commercial sector, as happened at the outset of the recession in the early 1990s, or the schools market, as happened with the change of government at the last election, then a practice will find it very hard to survive if all of its work comes from the imploding sector. So the purpose of setting this benchmark is to ask the question about the breadth and depth of a practice's income stream. However, for the very small practices with a focus on local and domestic market, the sector delineation, which is implicit in this benchmark, is actually quite difficult to achieve. 20% of the practices with fewer than 5 people work in only one sector, and although almost 60% work in 3 or more different sectors, almost 90% of those very small practices fail to meet this benchmark. At this small end of the profession, we suggest that the benchmark could perhaps be established on, focused on establishing a portfolio of different clients to generate a range of income streams rather than on sectors. On average, practices work in just over 4 sectors, rising to just under 8 for the large practices. But this apparently varied workload masks a really quite worrying reliance on single sectors. Now, I've already covered the issue with the very small practices, but it is of concern to see that most practices, regardless of size, fail to meet this 40% benchmark. For larger practices especially, meeting this benchmark should be a vital component of their risk management strategy. Perhaps the most striking difference between small and large practices is the clients with whom they all work. As in previous years, all practices, regardless of size, earn fees from private corporate clients, although the vast majority of fees coming into the profession from these clients goes to the larger practices. However, when you look at the other client types, that's when you see the real gulf between both ends of the profession coming to light. Domestic clients account for more than half of the income with those with fewer than 5 people. For practices with more than 20 people, this percentage is less than 5%. By contrast, the public sector, with its tick-box procurement routes and KPI-driven delivery, which are completely alien to the domestic market, hardly features in the lives of the smaller practices. Similarly, the unimpeded rise of contractor clients means that they now contribute upwards of 1/5 of the income of practices with more than 20 people. And what that does is it places these practices firmly in amongst the supply chain operators in what is the construction industry, which is a far cry from the patronage enjoyed on domestic projects. If you'd like to find out more about the next Colander Conversation, please visit our website www.colander.co.uk and make sure to join the conversation at #ColanderUK.